Yo guys, welcome back to the Transfer Daily YouTube channel where we are bringing you the latest update from the transfer market. So getting straight into it then, and we're going to be talking about one talent from Leipzig, and that is Antonio Nusa. And Nusa, as we know, signed for Leipzig last summer from Club Brugge, and he is one of the crucial points in the project for Leipzig. So Leipzig want to keep him, and the stance of Leipzig is he's not for sale unless a huge proposal comes in that is over the value they want for Nusa. So it's unlikely he leaves, but one thing we can say is in recent weeks clubs have contacted the camp of Nusa to register interest, etc., and he is gaining interest from several clubs around Europe. So let's wait and see with this one. But currently we know the exits of Xavi Simons, Benjamin Sesko and a few other players for Leipzig happening. So for me it's very unlikely that Nusa leaves, but let's wait and see because he is gaining interest. So then one thing I want to say is one of the most talented young Spanish players in La Liga is Alberto Moleiro, and as I've said on X and maybe in a video previously, is that he's expected to leave Las Palmas this summer. He's had interest over the last year or so from Saudi clubs, but he is set to join Villarreal on a permanent transfer from Las Palmas this summer, and an agreement is done with Las Palmas. Currently we don't have the fee for the deal, but when I do get that I will update you. But it's all set to be signed soon, and then Moleiro will have the medical test, then he'll sign his contract to become a new Villarreal player, and it's a very good signing for Villarreal. But the feeling is also that now that unlocks the transfer of Alex Baena to Atletico Madrid, because we know he's one of the top priorities for Atleti this summer. After they've been working on a deal now for the last few weeks with Villarreal, still no breakthrough, but it's seen as a replacement for Baena, who Atletico Madrid are in negotiation with Villarreal now. After personal terms will not be an issue for Atletico Madrid. As I've said there many times, Napoli will definitely sign a new centre-back. Kevin De Bruyne has just been made official. Yunus Musa expected to be next up as talks are advanced between Milan and Napoli. And then next up I would say is a new striker and a new centre-back. And I've talked about Sam Bukaima in one of the previous videos recently, and he is the preferred new centre-back target because, as I've said to you, there was three names. There's Gatti from Juventus, Giorgio Scalvini from Atalanta, and Bukaima as well. And Bukaima and Scalvini are the top two, but currently Napoli are pursuing the deal for Sam Bukaima, and I said in the previous video he's already said yes to the Napoli move, and the full agreement is now there on personal terms between Napoli and Sam Bukaima. So now soon Napoli will enter talks with Bologna and try to agree a fee, and then because of the agreement already on personal terms, Sam Bukaima will become a Napoli player if they can agree on the fee with Bologna. So then now one of the best up-and-coming talents from Norway who's been spoken about a lot over the last few years, and it is Svea Nipan from Rosenborg, and he is set to join Manchester City on a permanent transfer. And Manchester City, as I said, been very active in the transfer market, and the agreement is in place for a €15 million transfer fee for Nipan to become a player, and he already has an agreement in place with Manchester City on personal terms for a 5-year contract until June 2030, and a loan move is now likely the next steps for Manchester City. And as I said, Aston Villa looked like they were going to sign him, Arsenal a few months prior to that, so top English clubs are all interested, but Manchester City have won the race for Nipan, the top talent. So as I said, a loan move very likely to happen next season with Girona, parent club of Manchester City, is the most likely team for where Nipan will go on loan to for one season. So we've talked about AC Milan and new striker, and I said in a previous video, obviously the dream striker target is Matteo Retegui from Atalanta, but as I said, that's a very tough deal to done. But two other names who are one to watch is Darwin Núñez. Recently they have inquired AC Milan. We know Napoli have also inquired over Darwin Núñez and his situation, and Liverpool want around 60 million for him, but Napoli have inquired, AC Milan have inquired, and also, as we know, Al Hilal inquired. But so far, clubs, that is as far as they've got. No team has obviously came through more with this, so let's wait and see. But this one, Darwin Núñez and AC Milan, is a tough deal to get done because of the cost of a deal. But as we know, Darwin Núñez is practically certain to leave Liverpool this summer, and then once that happens, Liverpool will assess a new striker themselves. So then another striker where contacts have taken place in the recent days for AC Milan is Dusan Vlahovic, and we know Allegri managed Vlahovic at Juventus, so obviously the player knows Vlahovic, and we know Vlahovic's contract situation, it expires in 2026, so if there's no renewal, which at the moment it doesn't look like it's going to happen, Dusan Vlahovic will leave Juventus this summer, so that could potentially be, I think, a deal that AC Milan could explore, but it all depends, as it says, on the costs, etc. And also with Dusan Vlahovic, I'm expecting movement from Premier League clubs, because I know he's been linked with a move to Turkey. There may be interest from there, I'm not sure on that, but from what I get is for Dusan Vlahovic, he either stays in Italy or he moves to the Premier League. So let's wait and see. But AC Milan definitely drawing up targets, etc. for a new striker, and movement I'm expecting soon for AC Milan and a new striker. So then obviously we spoke about Leroy Sane, that big bomb from yesterday, and it is that he will join Galatasaray as a free agent, and the agreement was done. There was many clubs where Sane was offered to, etc., but there was also interest from Fenerbahce, and Leroy Sane will join Galatasaray. It's been made official now after medical test pass, etc., and a crucial one in the deal was obviously the wage. Obviously Galatasaray gave Leroy Sane around 300 grand per week, but also Champions League football was a big factor in this one, but also Galatasaray's intentions, because they also want Victor Osimhen on a permanent transfer. But this is a sign and a statement from Galatasaray to Victor Osimhen as well, saying we will compete this season, etc. But the agreement is passed now, it's been signed, and he will sign a 3-year deal for Galatasaray when his contract expires on July the 1st. But a key one is, just some breaking news earlier on, is that he will play in the Club World Cup for Bayern Munich. So his contract obviously doesn't expire till July the 1st, so he will play for Bayern Munich in that, and he is currently travelling to the USA to join up with the Bayern Munich squad, and then he'll sign and become official Galatasaray player for 3 years. So that is it from me. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.